Hello and welcome to Sewing Classes Derby, and today I would like to show you how to do some crafty things. Because as Christmas is soon, I thought maybe I could show you how to do some applique, where you could maybe use it for making presents for your children or some other interesting project. You already could think about it yourself, how you could apply it. I just wanted to show you a technique how to do that. Okay, so for that today we will need dressmaking scissors, fabric scissors, and paper scissors, so you can use a small one if you prefer, and little scissors as well. You don't have to have those, but sometimes people prefer to cut with little scissors. Then you'll need a piece of paper, just normal A4 paper, drawing pencil, and then as say like a highlight pencil, or you can use felt tip. Base fabric, I just have these two these little square pieces, no square, rectangle same. So this will be for the base, and also you will need some different kind of parts and materials, or whatever you choose, it depends. See, like here I selected a few pieces out of my box with what I have sometimes left from projects. Is like it's very different, but you don't need big pieces. Even something small like that could be used and could create a nice interesting pattern like this. See, like, and because of the season, obviously I have really like small scrap pieces. You will see we could make something really interesting with that. And also here I have like collection of different color threads. You don't have to have so many, I just put it as an example, so you could use bright colors to create an accent line around your silhouette you're going to make. Okay, shall we start? You would need to draw a picture of whatever you wanted to make. So I thought, because of Christmas coming and all these seasonal gifts we could make, so I thought if I'll go just like draw like just like a tree, like a Christmas tree kind of silhouette, and you could just sketch yourself, or you could go and look on Pinterest and maybe, you know, print out some silhouettes from there. See if you just like to sketch it. It doesn't have to be anything particularly perfect, because it's all about character. And then when you're kind of happy with it, you need to get strong color. And you see, like when I was drawing, it's like a lot of little lines, but when you sew, you will need one line to follow, so you need to be quite exact. So you could just, after you sketch, you just could go around and choose the line you would want to follow when you do your applique. Yeah, so I'll get this. And then next we need to take this and do like a bubble cut around it. So basically cut around your picture, leaving, I don't know, probably about ½ an inch or like 5 to 10 millimeters of extra paper around. So now we got this. We got this nice little tree. We'll take base fabric, and see, a tree would be here. You could place it in the middle, anywhere, because you could create a composition. This would be just the first step for it, but then you could add to it another tree, or I don't know, snowman, or anything, whatever you want to. But I'll just show you how to do one layer applique. Because if it's a Christmas tree, I'll just see, oh, if this piece is big enough, and I think yes. So this is just big enough, that's great. So see, if I'll just put a couple of pins to hold it down, or hold the paper with my fabric together so it doesn't go anywhere. So if I just put two, stop it moving and escaping. should be enough. Right, see, like I put it like that, and we don't really need all this, like this extra pieces of material, so we could just chop them off. Then what we'll do, we'll put this on our base fabric on top, and just position where you want to position it. You can put it like this, or you can put it like this. It's up to you. I think I want to put it like that here. Just put it slightly off center, because it's how I like to do that. Yep, so we do it like that. So you can see like this. And then, when you're happy where it is, positioning of it, so you will need to take some pins. I prefer to use little pins like that, so you don't use a big hand. Go and pin through both layers, so you have to pin through the paper, through your accent fabric, your pattern fabric, and through your base fabric, all through all layers. So you could see maybe pin like this here. So I'm going to go around and pin it all together. So when it's like that, we could sew around this line I just outlined a picture. It's a good idea to use applique foot, which just look just like that. Which, as you can see, it's clear foot, and when we sew, we'll be seeing through it a lot easier than if it would be metal. So put this foot. For the bottom thread, we're just going to use any, well, I have black, we could use any thread, really. Depends what you want to put as an accent color, but for the first stitch, first line, it doesn't really matter what thread it is at all, what color it is. So, but I have black, and I have the same black color for the top thread. So just set my machine on straight stitch. So now when machine set to small straight stitch, mine set to 1.2 millimeters, we could sew just following this black line we drawn earlier. You could start anywhere. I wouldn't start in the corner, somewhere on a straight line. And we're going to be sewing through all layers, through the paper, your applique fabric and the base fabric. You would better take the pins out when you come to them, so I try not to sew through the pins, because if needle will hit the pin, you will have to change the needle. It will get broken or get dull, and then it will be no good to use anymore. Right, so see, I follow it line, try to do it very exact if I can. When I turn corners, when I pivot, if you've noticed, I always make sure the needle is down. So it's actually, when I lift the foot, needle's actually holding your material in place, and you're not going to have any kind of zigzaggy undesirable stitching when you're done. So whenever you turn, whenever you lift the foot, needle should be all down, staying in the fabric, so needle should be down. So just a little bit left, we're almost there. Yes, and see, we came to beginning of where we started. So just come into this thread at the beginning of the stitch. So you could just go over the beginning of the our stitching just a little bit, maybe like 1 centimeter, 1.5 centimeters. That will be enough. Right. So this is what we've got. And now, when this is done like that, we will need to peel the paper off. Because we're stitching such a small stitch, it works almost like a knife, so your stitching would kind of cut paper very close, and so when you peel it, it will come off really easily, as you can see. So you just need to peel it off. And if you just peel outside pieces, you will see what will be left, what kind of shape tree will look like. It's actually, at this stage, I always think it looks so beautiful, you almost want to keep it like that. Right, so, and when we peel the tree off, so this is what we've got at this stage. So now we've done all the stitching around our silhouette, around our picture, and next thing we will need to cut off all the excess material around our line. So you can use scissors like this or smaller scissors like this. As long as they are cutting material, they will be fine. Some people prefer to use little scissors like this. I like my big scissors, so I would do that with my big scissors, and I prefer to cut it from this, like outside my hand, like that. So we will remember, we'll need to leave 2 millimeters extra after the line. All these measures, and we will need to cut it as neat as possible, being careful not cut too much, because if we will leave very small amount, there won't be enough to hold a material in place. But if we leave too much, it will be not looking very neat when you sew. So it needs to be kind of this nice 2 millimeter figure, I think, is the best. I'm cutting this way, because I'm holding this way, doesn't let me to come too close to line and cut it too short, so I think it's quite a good position. See, like how it's approximately 2 millimeters I left around my line. Can you see? Next step, when we've done this, when we cut all the excess material around the line, we will need to go and sew with a zigzag stitch, like close-up zigzag stitch, around outline of the tree, to hold till the end of the material. And also you could make it like a decorative outline. We could use different color threads to make it more interesting. Right, so I'm thinking, because it's green and background kind of blue gray, kind of not very bright, there is not that much of a color difference, not obvious like color difference between them. So I think that would be nice to use some kind of a contrast color to show around it, something like this, or maybe something like that, you know, some kind of bright color, because I think if we sew just with a green, it will just blend in and will be like, it will be a bit thicker line and bright as the material itself. However, it's not going to stand out, but it's up to you. You can just go also, you can just go with a black as well. That will just make it like a calm kind of style, not very bright. But if you're making it for kids, I would use something bright and something which would help it to pop up. So shall we maybe do it with red, just Christmas color? So I'm going to put red into my machine. So it's all done. So we set red color for the top thread. On the bottom you can either put the same color as the top, red in this case, or you could leave the black. It's entirely up to you. It's not overly important, but if you're worried to make your applique really neat, the best would be put the same color at the bottom, which is at the top, of course. To stop showing up bottom thread, you just need to make tension at the top a little bit less. So if normal tension is about 3-4, or on my machine at the moment it's set as auto, on the auto mode, but I know that medium one is 3-4, so to stop thread coming out, I'll put it into about 2. See, like it is an auto now. I'm going to move it and then put it into 2. Okay, so when we've done all that, for this we will need to set our zigzag stitch to about 2.5 millimeters wide. 3 will be okay, 2 I think may not be enough, 2.5 is good, 3 is good. Bigger may look a little bit bulky, especially if you have not done it before. I'll stick with 2.5 millimeters. Zigzag on the middle, and then see in the moment it's showing 3, and I'd like to have a 2.5, so I'm going to put a 2.5. And distance between stitches, so basically how close they're going to be, would need to be about 0.4 millimeters, I think, roughly that. So I've done it before, so this is a good one to try. So we do like this, 0.4. So now when we set a stitch, we will start sewing. Right, so if you could see here on my foot, like a little red middle mark. So middle mark, basically it's in the middle of your stitch. If we set middle mark just off the center of your line, basically like that, so it's almost on our line, just a little bit out, so because I want to try to cover all those edge which is still left after the stitched line. So that's why I thought if we will put it, if you put it on the line, I think because zigzag stitch is 2.5 millimeters wide, it may not cover all the edge, but if you put it just offline like this, I think it will be just right. We could start anywhere, but in this time I think we need to start somewhere in a corner, any corner on your tree, and you'll have to be quite patient because you need to be go a bit slow, try to turn smoothly on corners, so we don't have like corners. If there are no corners, so you shouldn't make corners. So I'm trying to move fabric very smoothly with small movements, try to follow the line exactly. You don't need to pull or push fabric up and forth because machine will push it with the speed of sections you've set because we put stitch on 0.4 in between our zigzag stitches. So this is what machine will try to move the fabric according to that. And now we come to the corner. I'm trying to come to the corner of outside. Again, before we move, we need to make sure the needle is in the fabric, so needle is down. So we leave the foot, pivot, and now see, we need to, because needle is left in one position, we need to lift the needle and lift the foot and put the needle in the right position to start, so we have a nice and sharp corner. And putting it just outside, kind of outside of the black line. See, I hardly move the fabric and try to stay like really careful, don't juggle, so it will be really nice and neat. I'm trying to finish exactly where our black line finished to, so I could cover it. Right, again, see, when I turn, I leave the needle in, so when you turn it doesn't move anyway, you don't want it to move. And now I try to start from the corner again nicely, take an account the width of the zigzag stitch. It is very important when you do that not to hold on to the fabric, because it does happen quite often with my students, because when the speed of the machine, for example, set a little bit too high for what they're comfortable with, they are, well, they're sewing, they're holding onto the material, and then machine can't move it as it should, and what we'll have like a lot of a bulk of sewing on one point, which is not going to look very nice, and we'll have to either redo it or have it like that, which is not as good as you could do. So my advice would be, if you feel the machine is a little bit too fast, instead of holding it, you put the speed of the machine a little bit slower, so you could comfortably follow it as it goes instead of holding it onto material. See, like I'm not holding it virtually, I'm only a little bit moving it. The most difficult ones around corners, because it's very difficult to make them smooth round. Like a couple of steps, turn a little bit more, couple of steps, feel like I'm lifting foot a little bit, and turn a bit more, and again, so you need to be very patient to get good results. See, I'm trying to sew just over my black line, so when we've done all the red stitching, I don't want to see any black popping out anywhere, so it needs to be covered by your decorative color you chose to do. Of course, if you're sewing it with the same color, it may be a little bit more forgiving, so if it peeps out somewhere, you're not going to see it, but I chose a completely different color. So if I go wrong somewhere, it will be very obvious, so I can't really make any mistakes whatsoever. We need to make a nice job out of this. Oh no, what happened? Oh my god. No sewing, I think. my bottom thread must be run out, which is really annoying. It does happen, and I have not noticed, so I'm going to check. Oh yes, and now, so see, I had some different color under my black thread, and black is finished and it stopped sewing. So I'm going to go and see if I already have black. So I'm going to put a new one. This is full, kind of more full than the other one was, so it'll be fine to finish the job. So I'm putting it in, and see what, if you noticed, I have not cut my red color at all. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it tight back on the machine, and then I will put the needle in where I finished. I don't know if you could see that. So hopefully we won't see the end of where thread finished last time. We could carry on. So it should be very nice and neat joint, so nobody will see that. See here, like, oh, it's really nice. We can't see anything, there's something going on with it. So now we need to go around the top of the tree, and then my picture, it was a little bit rounded, so I'll try to go round very neatly so it looks nice. See, like I'm doing only a couple of stitches at a time and turning. So we have this like nice transition. Right, so this is what we got, which is quite nice. If you look closer, you see it's like how I tried to do corners neatly. Seems to be alright. It doesn't need to be overly perfect because you need to have a character, so it's all handmade and lovely. So this is like first step. Next time I will show you how to do double layer one in one go, and maybe we could make out of this applique pieces some, like a little bag or some kind of a craft piece, some present for somebody for Christmas maybe. Okay, I hope you like it, and I hope you understood how to do that. If anybody have any questions or if you have any suggestions, please write comments and I'll try to answer all the questions. And if you have any ideas or want to see something else filmed or me to show you to do something in particular, just write in comments and I'll try to do that for you. Okay, hopefully I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.